Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. In this updates video, we're going to talk about reality. Okay, you might have noticed on recent videos and updates videos, it is based with the intent of figuring out what is reality, and whether that's looking at in the perception or the perspective of ascension or not. I feel like we're really making big progress in regards to this. And a predictor a long time ago was if we could figure out reality, then we can figure out a lot of these problems and where a lot of the problems come from. And I feel like the dots are really connecting up nicely at this point, and I want to share them with you. So what we're going to do, I'm going to talk about a pathway that I'm using actually with sessions now for clients in regards to it's a bit like a step-by-step process or pathway in regards to our reality. Okay, and I'm quite optimistic about this because there are certain clients that we have clients that range from we just do 5-10 minutes of clearings and all of a sudden I'm having a massive shift in regards to the health problem very quickly or within a session. But we also get clients who take a bit longer, and a number tens of sessions quite often can result into just getting somewhere with some people as well. So everyone's different, and we find that everyone is very unique. And I feel like this way of healing, which is really changing my method of healing, is we're gonna make big shifts a lot faster, and that's what it's all about. We want to get to the root of your problem at a faster rate within less sessions. So therefore, you're not having to fork up as much money in regards to sessions, and also it's empowering for you as well, because a lot of people that come and do the sessions, they've got an interest in regards to energy as well, and quantum energy, and this pathway is based on two realities. And the first one's quantum realm, and the second one's the astral realm. Okay, and so I'm going to go through this pathway now, and we're going to talk about a number of concepts and how they relate to what is actually happening in so-called reality. So we all originated or were conceived through a source of energy, our origin. The word source means origin, and the energies that were created that conception of you were some 4 energies which we use as a healing energy. Now anybody that's done a session with me, we call that the energy cube, and these 4 energies are energies that we'll always need from the conception through all our realities. Okay, and when we talk about realities, we talk about I guess the words that come up to mind for a lot of people are past lives and reincarnation. And I don't really like using the word past lives because it's kind of, we're using the program of time to say that we had that life before now and before that life and before that life, when really in all reality, pardon the pun, is that they're all playing out simultaneously all at the same time, and you're all connected through the quantum physics term, quantum entanglement. And because you're all connected to that one original source of energy, okay, that made up you. Now, when that conception of that energy was created, as I say, through 4 particular energies, which is, one is based on reality, one is based on which is down to the idea of you being able to create your own reality, because we were conceived with that purpose or that energy to just be able to create our own reality at will, just placing intent out there, and that will manifest into your own reality. Why we don't have that now is because there's little hidden hands that come in and are playing around with this original concept that you always were supposed to have. So we'll talk about that. The other one is source, or being connected to your origin. One is infinite, so therefore being able to be connected to infinite frequencies and infinite energy, because we are infinite. This whole idea of within this reality or the simulated reality, all our realities are programmed realities. and simulations, and within these simulations they allow us to have a birth and a death, okay, which is a start or a finish, but in all reality we are an energy source, and our energy source is infinite. And the other one is the capability to heal. And we hear this all the time, that we all have this capability. What I do as a job here, an ability as a true quantum healer, as a dowser and so on, is we all have this capability. It's just being aware of it and activating that, and it's a feel thing, and the same thing with dowsing is, a lot of people say, well, how do you dowse without a pendulum? Well, it becomes a feel. It's nothing to do with the pendulum itself. It's within you, and you've always had that. And it's just trusting your ability to do that. And so this is what these 4 components are made up of: your conception, and then you go about creating your realities from that point onwards. Now, what we also found from that conception of source was you could either take 2 paths, and we call those the gateway of consciousness. Now, one path is going through a dark gateway of consciousness, where you got manipulated, or let's say took the wrong path at an early point from your source. And the other one is the gateway of consciousness, the light. Again, it's polarity, isn't it, or duality. Now, the gateway of consciousness, the dark one, leads you to the astral field, or the astral realm. Now, a word that I'm currently getting quite a lot of the time is void for the astral realm. And it's very, very interesting that comes up, because I've been coming across a lot of sources of other information in regards to quantum realm, because quantum physics is quite well known now, and it's there's a lot of stuff to back up quantum physics these days in regards to conventional science, but the idea of a quantum realm is still debated. Let's say a lot of the sources of a quantum realm that you'll hear are quite often through movies and what they deem science fiction movies. But it's interesting to see when I've been connected to these movies for one, and watching these movies. And I was watching a movie last night, and the word void came up in regards to make sure you don't go into the void when you go into the quantum realm. So a lot of dots connecting up. Very, very interesting. As we know, within those movies, there's a lot of disclosure that's dripped within or leaked within those movies. What's the greatest way to hide it is to put it out in the open. So once you go through the gateway of consciousness, if you went through the dark one, all of a sudden you're connecting up to the astral realm, which is the void. The other name for the astral realm is a black hole. And where this is very interesting is where we look at conventional astronomy. In regards to the cosmos, we see black holes, and what a black hole is feeding off the energy of a star. So I guess it's the same analogy here in regards to what we're finding with people that are connected to the astral realm, is their energy becomes depleted very quickly. So therefore, an analogy of the black hole drawing out your energy. And all the consciousnesses that are attacking humanity, whether it depends on what level that your perception is or your perspective is, whether that's the reptilians or whether it's the archons, whether that's all these other beings we call that are feeding off energy, Satanism, which is a consciousness, and so on and so on. They're all just the same faces. They're all faces of the same thing behind them, and that is this astral realm, and they're all part of the astral realm, and they're all really very parasitic in nature, because they're trying to feed off your energy. When we look at the reptilians, they're trying to get you into a fear state, so therefore then they'll feed off that energy. Again, very parasitic. What we find with consciousness is, because there's a difference between a consciousness and a being. When we say we see a being, it's a bit the same as us. What you're seeing in front of you on this video is you're seeing my encoded form. We call that our physical body, but as this reality, like all realities, are a program reality and a simulation, we are an encoded form of a consciousness, and our consciousness is our source energy. Okay, now there is a universal law that all consciousnesses need to evolve. Okay, and so what we're finding with the consciousnesses that are currently within the astral realm is they are within a realm where their energy evolvement has ceased, so it's stopped. And as universal law, consciousnesses need to keep evolving. They need to feed off energy and other avenues to then evolve as a consciousness themselves. So what we're finding is all these beings, reptilians, malevolent Arcturians, Archons, and so on, they are just encoded forms within this reality. Their consciousness needs to evolve, and they find a way of feeding off our energy to do so. Now, obviously, the downside to that is we lose our vibration. Therefore, all of a sudden, our evolvement, our consciousness starts to stop as well, when really we want to keep progressing and evolving forth. And then, what we see there is a number of things: illness, manifestation problems. All of a sudden, those things that we were conceived to do, like create our own reality, no longer we can do that, because there's all these other consciousnesses that are feeding into your own energy, which are slowing your progression down, and it's causing them to evolve for their own means. So what we're doing is for the clients that are really, and people that are really gone to so many healers and they feel like they're not really making any progresses, it's usually at a very early stage of their conception as an energetic being or energetic consciousness. They took this route into that dark gateway of consciousness, and they've been part of the astral realm for quite some time. And quite often their consciousness can go fully into a void situation, right into the black hole or this astral realm consciousness, and we need to pull them out of that and then draw them and bring them all the way back to the light gateway of consciousness. And this is what we're going to talk about now. So now the other polarity or duality to this whole pathway is we go through the gateway of consciousness from a light aspect, and then all of a sudden we become part of the quantum realm, and this is where we're naturally supposed to be, because when we're on the quantum realm, then our consciousness continues to evolve. Now the quantum realm has all your realities within it, so all the versions of yourself. We could call those your higher self or lower self, depending where you are on that ladder. A higher self could be connecting to another version of yourself, but that is a little bit more advanced than you are, so therefore you're going to get some answers or wisdom that maybe you don't have or you're not aware of currently. And you're all connected through quantum entanglement, because you are all you, and you're all connected to the same source of energy. Now, we also call the quantum realm a Bifrost bridge, because when we're talking about our consciousness wanting to evolve, that means becoming, this is where the term multidimensional comes from. When we say we're multidimensional, that means we can skip from one reality to another. And that's having that capability and understanding or having awareness of reality to figure that out. And I feel like we're really getting there now. Now, another aspect of what can happen is while we're on the quantum realm is when portals, stargates, gateways, and these sorts of things get activated or opened up, which gives these consciousnesses that are from the astral realm component an avenue to try and feed off your energy on a different route. So a big part of my pathway is obviously closing all the access of them trying to feed off your energy, but also finding out what intelligence is controlling you or controlling your reality. For example, a part of your body, say for example you came and you always had digestive system problems, then what will probably happen is either in the current reality, so the reality you're living in now, or the evolution of you, which is all your realities, okay, are being siphoned or from another consciousness, or are connected to the astral realm, and therefore that area of you is depleted in energy, not only within this reality, maybe other realities, which is going to amplify the problem, because you, again, as you say, you're all quantumly entangled or connected. So what we do there is we close off all the access way, but we, more importantly, we find out what intelligence that is. Now, the word soul is the intelligence, okay? So the soul or consciousness of a rogue consciousness, maybe, let's say, the archons, the reptilians, are feeding off that energy, and they are dictating or controlling what your reality is going to become. For example, your consciousness. Now, when that occurs, say they're siphoning part of your digestive system where you've never had any problems with your respiratory system. Your respiratory system continues to evolve because it's still connected to the quantum realm. But your digestive system's been connected to the astral realm, which has ceased that evolvement of that part of your body within this encoded form, which we call the physical body. So what we call that term is fragmentation, okay? And then all of a sudden, that means that in regards to evolvement, your respiratory system's here, but your digestive system's all the way back here. When we remove the fragmentation and therefore bring everything back into phase, then all of a sudden everything aligns back up again, instead of one being out here and one being back here. Because what do we always hear? That, you know, the body works holistically all together as one, but when you're fragmented, there's no way it will do that. So we need to bring everything back into phase, and we do that, and that's a term of fragmentation. So we're looking at, in the system now, we're looking at working on only individual realities, but we also look at the evolution. We look at early conceptions of certain parts of your body, which is a reality that's a lot closer to your origin of source. Okay, so we're looking at things completely differently now, and then once we're able to make sure that you're all connected up to the quantum realm, we know that that area of your body is going to continually evolve. So for example, if you continually have a problem in a certain area, as I say with the analogy of the digestive system problem, it's because that part of your body cannot replenish itself and therefore cannot evolve itself. Okay, so we're just using a different terminology here, but more from the perspective of looking at everything and understanding reality in a better way. So I wanted to kind of explain a lot of these terms, and I'm very excited about it. I'm also got ideas of a way of using a tool to heal using a cube. Currently I use a hypercube, which is a cube within a cube. We also call that a tesseract. And I've been able to instill a number of energies within the inner cube, which has really bolstered its energy probably at least 9 or 10 times fold in regards to power. But I'm looking to get some tools out for people that are interested. Just a small little cube which is going to have all the energies of the conception of what I mentioned earlier in the video, and a few other tools. Another tool that I've been using is this one here, which is called a dragon sphere. Okay, and this is why it's called dragon sphere. Is it's one of the cubit length of these rings, or these 8 that are composed the dragon sphere, is a dragon cubit, and that was dowsed to me. I didn't find that through anybody else, and this is also one encouragement for anybody that's healing out there, is that, you know, it's great to follow other people, but be a leader. Trust your channel of information. Be a leader and bring that information forth for other people to share. And that's what we're doing here at Truly Holistic. And this is a wonderful tool, and I'm using this a lot. It brings through the energy of the dragon, and when we look at the mythology of the dragon, is, you know, it breathes out fire, right? And what dragons feed on is plasma energy. And when we talk about non-compatible field, we're talking about energy that is accumulating plasma, and that is also linked with this whole idea of the astral field too, because the astral is definitely a non-compatible field, where the quantum energy is more compatible. So this tool is great in removing non-compatible field, removing inflammation, and it's got a bit of a snowball effect through all your realities if you work on your evolution, where you can connect everything up in regards to all the realities and very quickly. So we're able to do a clearing which normally would take 5 or 6 clearings. We can do it with one with using this tool. So I think that's about it in regards to updates, and I'll continually keep you updated in regards to other stuff, and we're really it's very exciting where this is taking us. Now, one thing I also wanted to mention before I finish was, at your conception, when your source was created, a field is also created, and we call that the far field. Okay, again, the far field, the other name for it is our universe. Okay, so when we hear about all the theories in regards to a multi-universe, well, it's correct, because every single one of us which conceived from a source of energy created a universe. And from conception, it's a bit, I guess it's connected to the whole idea of a Big Bang, the Big Bang Theory, is that, you know, the explosion of energy that created your source from these four conceptions of energy, and then all of a sudden it expands out, because, you know, you're creating realities, you know, reality after reality, and it expands, and it's spherical in nature, and yeah, the far field is something that we're working on as well, because if we can work at that level in the far field, then all of a sudden it will have an effect on all your realities, your evolution as a whole. So we're getting to really, really deep levels here in regards to getting to the core of your problem. You know, if we're just going to go and look somewhere and just clear out a reptilian, well, there's probably a good likelihood that that's just going to continue to manifest, because we need to understand, one, within this reality is a program reality, and therefore everything within this reality is encoded or programmed to be here. So we need to uninstall and delete that program, but we also need to understand where that encoded form is connected to a consciousness and where that consciousness is coming from. Because if we don't disconnect that consciousness, it's just going to keep manifesting another being into your reality, which is just going to cause more problems. So I hope you've really enjoyed this video. I know it's been pretty in-depth stuff, and I hope you, if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask, and I'll be happy to answer them below. So anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.